Okay, now let's have a look at how do you find the root process, basically the process with ID 1 running inside a container. Now, why do we need to find this root process? What's the purpose of this? Well, this process, the root process basically, is the one that is responsible to keep the container going. So essentially, this is the process that starts running when you run a container, and if for some reason this process exits, the container stops working and it just exits from running state and it goes into stopped or killed state, right? Now there are multiple ways to find out which process inside a container is the root process. One of the ways is to use docker ps command. So I have this docker ps command over here, and its output, as you can see, in case of nginx, the container id is this, and this is the root process. While in case of ubuntu, it's currently running. It has been up for 13 minutes now. The root process is bin bash. Right. Now, what I could do is, let me go inside these containers. So I'll run this particular container on a separate terminal. So I'll just keep it running, this one here, and I'll docker exec -it this container /bin/bash. All right. So notice now I also have bin bash running inside the very same container, right? So this is the same container which is running nginx-g daemon. So now if I do ps-aux, oh, ps command is not installed by default in the nginx container. No problem. We'll just install it quickly. Alright, so now we have ps command running. So now I have two processes running, as I can see. One is bash and one is ps. Okay, it's only showing bash and ps and not the nginx. That is because I'm not seeing all the processes. So the flags to use if you want to see all the processes are -aux. To understand what is this, I would suggest you go to ps linux utility and start reading on the man page for. So basically go down to any of the pages for ps command and read about what does aux stand for. So a quick go through is show processes which are running by any of the users. U is to provide detailed information about every process, and what is X? And the X is to add that have no controlling terminal such as daemon. So essentially any daemon processes which are running in the background which don't have any controlling terminal are also added to the list by using -x command. So this is outside the scope of this tutorial, but I would encourage you to read more on this just to get some idea around how it works. Alright, so now when I do ps-aux, I can see this process ID with this process run by user Ute with ID 1, and the command the same as we saw over here, nginx-g daemon, which is over here nginx-g daemon. Now I can zoom it out a bit to show the full command text, which is nginx master process, and the command that it is running is nginx-g daemon off, right? So this is another way of identifying the root process inside a particular running container. Now, why can't you use docker top? Well, the thing with docker top is, so when I do docker top and this particular container ID, the same that we have been playing with so far, nginx, what you will see is it shows you a lot more information as compared to what you would expect it to show you. So it shows you all these three processes with process IDs which are not similar to what we saw in. Okay, should not have opened this one. I'll go back to my terminal. I'll just put it down here. Okay. So inside here, the process ID that you saw was this one, the process ID 1 for nginx master daemon, whereas over here you see process ID is 12469 for the master daemon. So what's going on here? Well, the thing is that Docker top commands shows you the IDs for every process with respect to the host machine where the container is running and not with respect to the container itself. PS command, on the other hand, shows it to you with respect to the container which you are running, right? So, okay, what that means is every single process that you run inside any container on your machine also has a process ID of its own on the machine. Now we are getting into the advanced sides of Docker and how it works internally. But the short answer there for now is we'll get into the details eventually. But the short answer there for now is uh, the process IDs you see here are relative to the Docker process which is running to execute your command inside some container, while the process ID that you see over here inside the container is the actual process ID that is assigned to a running process while you are inside the container, right? I hope it doesn't confuses you further, but if it does, I would just say forget everything we spoke about Docker top. Just focus on either using Docker PS or inside the container using PS command given it's already installed. If it is not, you'll have to install it to identify which is the root, basically the root process or the process with PID 1 which is responsible to keep the container going. So that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. Leave me comments on how I can improve it further, and I look forward to seeing you in next video.